Good morning from the West Coast and good afternoon on the East Coast and to everyone in between. Thank you for joining us today and welcome everyone to the second annual Team PH Patient and Research Town Hall on living with pulmonary hypertension and beyond the pandemic in 2021. I'm Carl Hicks, your volunteer host and master of ceremonies for today's town hall. I'm beyond excited to be able to help today. Volunteering to serve patients to an amazing organization like Team Phenomenal Hope is an honor and a privilege for me. Currently, I serve on the Team Phenomenal Hope Board of Directors as Director and Treasurer. Over the years, however, I've volunteered for many of the patient advocacy organizations to include Director, Executive Vice President, Chairman of the Board for the Pulmonary Hypertension Association. Before we get started though, I'd really like to talk just a few minutes about this really phenomenal organization, Team Phenomenal Hope. Team Phenomenal Hope all started back in 2012 when a group of very, very brave young women led by Dr. Patty George, a PH doctor, rode in the grueling race across America. Considered by many to be the toughest race in the world, it's a nonstop 2,702-mile race. Yes, that's day and night across the mountains, across the prairies, all the way across the United States. They accomplished this in 7 days. They undertook this amazing feat for the people on this call to raise money and awareness in the fight against pulmonary hypertension. This extraordinary act led to hundreds of thousands of dollars being raised and has since evolved into something even greater, Team Phenomenal Hope. Team Phenomenal Hope is a nonprofit in the truest sense of the word. They've got an unwavering focus on the PH patient and caregiver support in fighting this disease. In doing so, they invite and integrate the entire community into the fight. Patients, caregivers, medical professionals, researchers, investigators, and industry, all brought together through Team Phenomenal Hope. And we're blessed to have several hundred of you on the call today, not only from the United States, but from around the world. A few of the wonderful programs that Team Phenomenal Hope supports includes the Patient Unmet Needs Fund, Let Me Be Your Lungs program, Phenomenal Hope Impact Fund and Phenomenal Hope Impact Fund for Global PH Research. A little bit about each of those. Team Phenomenal Hope's Patient Unmet Needs Impact Fund funds $500 microgrants at the beginning of every month to help patients with non-medicine unmet needs. Examples might be transportation to get to go see your PH doc, or undergoing changes in employment and the need for rent money, for food money, to repair your oxygen concentrator. No one else in the world does what Team Phenomenal Hope does, providing that support directly to the patient and their caregivers. In 2020, Team Phenomenal Hope provided $57,000 directly to patients to help them with their unmet needs. And they served 114 patients in our community in doing so. Our Let Me Be Your Lungs program is where we bring on athletes who like to run, walk, bike, swim, ski, etc., any sort of a physical activity to race to make a difference in the lives of our PH patients. We pair up athletes with people who live with PH in our Let Me Be Your Lungs program, helping to inspire our athletes, and it does inspire athletes, believe me on that, with every step or pedal stroke. You can find out more about joining our team in 2021 by going to the website teamphenomenalhope.org. Last year, our Let Me Be Your Lungs program raised over $33,000 to provide direct program support to PH patients. And finally, a bit about today's sponsorship program, the PH Phenomenal Impact Fund for Global PH Research. This fund provides research awards for $50,000 worldwide for medical research into improving treatments or finding a cure for pulmonary hypertension. And I said worldwide, and that's because the cure for this disease might be found in New York, could be found in San Francisco, but it might be found in Paris or Rio de Janeiro. Team Phenomenal Hope has truly got a worldwide approach to this, and it's something I greatly appreciate. Contributions from our athletes, sponsors, donors, and events such as the Phenomenal Hope 5K make this award possible. Our scientific review committee met in 2020 with 24 excellent award applications from leading PH centers around the world. At our first ever research town hall in July 2020 last year, Team PH announced the winner of our second $50,000 award to address the disparities in patient needs in Latin America. For our 2021 award, our committee met at the end of June to review final award submissions, and you're going to find out who won that award. Now, why do we do this? You might ask that. This is why, and the only reason why we do it, our patients and our families. And that beautiful smile in the lower right-hand corner is why I do this. That was my Megan. She was diagnosed at the age of 12 with idiopathic primary pulmonary hypertension and given a year to live. They didn't know how tough she was, though. And this picture was taken nearly a decade later, just a very few short weeks from a heart and a lung transplant that she underwent down with the wonderful folks at Stanford University Medical Center. She's been a PHHO now for about 12 years. And I want you to know that I will be in this fight to my last breath. And that's why I'm involved with this tremendous team. And I appreciate you asking me what you can do to help. That's important because Team Phenomenal Hope can't accomplish all these great things by themselves. We've got 2 woefully underpaid employees here. And the rest of it's all about, and they're excellent, by the way, but the rest of it's all about volunteer support. So what can you do? The bottom line is that Team Phenomenal Hope, as I say, can't do it all by itself. We need your help to help those struggling against PH in our community. There are many ways that you can help. You can volunteer like I do to help and support Team PH, support our community. You can volunteer to help provide Team Phenomenal Hope administrative assistance. As an example, we're in dire need right now of a database administrator. There are so many ways that you might be able to volunteer to help us in this fight to support you. You can get a few friends together. You can put on a small fundraiser. But importantly, you can donate. We're all very busy. And so if time's an issue for you, you can simply donate in support of Team Phenomenal Hope's athletes who are out there daily raising funds through competing in races and other events as your emissaries. You can do this by going to the Team Phenomenal Hope website and selecting an athlete and donating through that vehicle or that method. It all goes to the same place, supporting our patients and their families. So be sure to make your donation today. Next, I'd like to talk for just a few moments about the agenda. First off, we're going to talk a little bit about exercise with PH. And I can remember Megan years ago, my daughter asking Dr. Bars, "Hey, Dr. Bars, can I exercise with this disease?" That's an important question. We're going to hear a lot about that and how to correctly do it from Dr. Greenspan very shortly. And how about traveling with PH? Now that a lot of this pandemic is behind us, many of us want to get out and go see family members and see people we haven't seen for a while. Travel can be very complicated with PH, but there are certain tips and tricks that can help you make that easier. And Julia Feitner, also a board member, does it regularly, and she's going to share some of her tips. Preparing for that all-important ER visit. Again, something I can remember clearly over the years doing on several occasions. None of us like to go to the emergency room, but you can make it easier if you're prepared in advance and make it easier for those medical professionals who may not have seen a PH patient for quite some time. There are some tips on that, and we're going to get those from Denise Lewis. Finally, what we're all wanting to hear about is the 2021 Research Award announcement by Dr. Hapfarber. And then we'll wrap it up. Well, not quite wrap it up, but we'll get into the research year in review. Everybody wants to know, hey, what's coming down the pipeline? What's going to help us? What hope do we have coming perhaps in the next medicine for this? So we're going to have a good discussion about that with some top-notch PH docs. And finally, PH and the pandemic. We're still in that. And so we're going to hear again from Dr. Greenspan about how we can continue to go forward with that pandemic out there. So let's see. Oh, I do want to point out that I misspoke a few moments ago. Our last presenter is Dr. Alvarez. So he'll be joining us to talk about pulmonary hypertension in the remaining pandemic. Okay, next, I'd like to show you this slide. And I've got to tell you, having been around this thing, I'm now in my 3rd decade in the pulmonary hypertension world. These folks are the folks we count on to help us every day in this fight. not only in terms of providing us the medications, but providing the support. And these folks have supported us today. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Janssen, Bayer, CVS especially, United Therapeutics, Credo, Altavant. These folks have all done so much for us, and they continue to do it for us. And a big thank you to the folks who are supporting us today.